There's a serious and very dangerous trend spreading across America today, which is many people are having an identity crisis. Satan's goal is to have the child of God questioning who they are in Christ, and to have you and me confused about who God has created us to be. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Crusader J here. In this video, I will discuss the tactics Satan uses to try to steal your identity. And you don't want to miss a second of this, so stay tuned. The prophet Jeremiah was told by God, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Just as God knew Jeremiah, he also knew you. Long before you were conceived or born, God knew you. I want you to think about that for a moment. Before you were conceived, God thought about you, and he planned for you. Satan desires to rob you of this one important attribute, which is you were thought of, planned for by the God of the universe. Your identity was given to you by God, and the person that you were created to be was put in you by God. So as would be obvious, anything from God that is meant for you, Satan wants to steal. We're told in the Bible, Satan wants to steal, kill, and destroy, and he wants to steal your identity. But how does Satan attempt to steal your identity? Satan creates confusion. He creates confusion in your mind by making you believe that everyone else has a better life than you. And if you can only be like somebody else, then your life would be perfect. This is a tactic of Satan's. It's a tactic that you must be aware of. You must be very careful to recognize that he's trying to apply into your life. The truth is, your life is already perfect because your life has been planned by a perfect God. Today in America, so many young people are being attacked by Satan and made to believe they're not supposed to be happy with who God has created them to be. So just as Satan presented to Eve in the garden an alternative to God's way, he is doing the same with the youth of today. Never before has so many people wanted to give up their identity for a new identity than what we're seeing today. Think about that for a moment. This happens when Satan places people in a state of confusion. Doubt, discouragement, and confusion are the greatest tools in Satan's toolbox. And we are seeing all three at work today in our society. The prophet Jeremiah was appointed by God as a prophet to the nations, and you have also been appointed by God for a specific purpose. It is up to each of us to find that purpose we were created for and then accept it with joy and with happiness. We must understand the tactics of the enemy and protect ourselves from falling into his traps. Satan uses this strategy to keep God's people unhappy and dissatisfied with who they are. Today, boys want to be girls and girls desire to be boys. This is Satan's strategic plan to confuse a generation that God promised would be the greatest prophetic generation in history. Satan uses his tactics to strategically rob people of their joy by showing them a different tree to eat from. The serpent presented Eve with a question as to what God had instructed her to do and not to do, and Eve went against God's instruction. Today, Satan gets people to question what God has done for them and what God has created them to be by presenting to them other people's lives. Think about that for a moment. In other words, God will bless your life, but Satan will point you to someone else who has more than you, and then he will get you to focus on what they have instead of what God has given to you. You were once pleased with what God had given you. You had thanked God for what He had given you. You were so happy when God gave you something and done something for you and poured out blessings upon your life. But then Satan decided to show you someone else's life. And by doing so, in time, you will begin to diminish God's blessings on your life, and you'll start wishing that you were living someone else's life. I hear people all the time saying, I wish I was in their shoes. I wish I had their money. I wish I had their job. I wish I had their marriage. I wish I had their life. Now suddenly Satan has made you unhappy with the life you were once happy in. Now Satan has made you unhappy, and he has you desiring to change your identity. The Apostle Paul wrote, I am sure of this, and he who has began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. It is extremely important that we protect our identity and not allow Satan to steal the perfect creation that God has made in each one of us, and that includes you. I'm going to link a video right here that you are certain to enjoy. If this video has been a blessing to you, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, may the Lord bless you.